What were you just thinking about? Was it positive or negative? Hopefully it was something positive like, wow, this guy's YouTube sure is cool. More likely though, it was probably something negative. At least that's what the statistics say. Research indicates that the average individual experiences between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts per day. Among these thoughts, 80% tend to be negative and 95% tend to be repetitive from the previous day. So that's up to 48,000 negative thoughts per day. It's time to start fighting back these patterns of negativity and reclaim a positive state of mind. And it all begins with the secret weapon known as positive affirmations. Truthfully, I have been practicing affirmations for a very long time. Admittedly, though, I was not consciously aware of these. I had been thinking negatively about myself for so long that it had just become affirmed in my mind. These affirmations secretly plotted my path, a rough one, through the universe, and I was no longer in control of my life. I was just dominated by negativity. Now, I definitely had my fair share of reasons and experiences to think this way. After repeated failures, rejections, and missed opportunities, it was hard not to be negative. I was just being realistic, or at least that's what I thought. Truthfully, I couldn't see the forest from the trees. Everyone experiences these things and they make a choice. They either choose to grow from them and to learn, or they choose to allow themselves to be held down and discouraged by them. By experiencing all these things that I went through, I was always moving closer to my purpose, to my meaning, and I was growing as a person. The thing was, I lacked this understanding at the time. I was able to fix my understanding once I discovered the power of reprogramming my mind with positivity. Now, I had heard about positive affirmations numerous times. I read about it, saw videos, but I just always dismissed it as being just another one of those trendy BS things, right? Little did I know, though, I would really end up changing my mind. Thankfully, my state of mind got so low to a point where I was willing to try anything. And yes, I do say thankfully because had my situation been slightly better, I might not have changed a lot of things and made myself better, right? And it really does seem that it often takes really extreme lows or extreme highs to influence change. And not to be negative, but it does seem that the lows are much more common in influencing change within the context of self-transformation. So, I started out just by listening to some random affirmation video that I found on YouTube. I literally typed in positive affirmations and it was the first one that I found. And it was very strange and uncomfortable at first. Honestly, I felt kind of cringe doing it, but I sucked it up, pause, and I just did it anyways. It ended up being a very pleasant break from just the daily ruminations of how much I despised my job and wanted to quit. After about 2 months of doing this, I started noticing slight changes in my thought patterns, and now I was thinking about how I could fix my problems rather than just focusing on the negatives and drowning in self-pity. Now I believe that I could fix my problems, and fixing my problems is exactly what I did. Fast forward to now, I've created a life plan for myself, and I am currently living it with positive and encouraging self-talk. My affirmations have since evolved to fit my changing circumstances, and without these affirmations, who knows where I would be right now if I hadn't changed my self-talk to be more positive. These things greatly impacted and changed my life for the better, and I know they can do the same for anyone else who's willing to commit to them. And that is why in today's YouTube video, we're going to be talking about what positive affirmations and the DMN are, why these concepts are important, and how you can start applying them to make your life much more positive today. So let's go ahead and get right into it. What are positive affirmations? I'm sure we've all heard of them by now, but let's just be clear that positive affirmations are not meant to be untrue or to ignore truths. That would be known as a delusion. Positive affirmations are simply positive thoughts or patterns that help us challenge untrue or unhelpful negative thought patterns. As mentioned earlier, most people have a lot of negative thoughts per day. Think of positive thoughts as muscle, negative thoughts as fat, and positive affirmations as exercise. So the more positive affirmations we do, the exercise, the more fat we burn, negative thoughts, and the more muscle we build, positive thoughts. Now let's talk about the DMN. The DMN is an abbreviation for Default mode network. And this is essentially the part of your brain that's active, and it's like your default state of mind when it's not actively being influenced by you. Consciousness is pretty weird. According to Psychology Today, the DMN is involved in episodic memory processing with introspection and autobiographic memory as important cognitive processes. So this system reflects on your most important memories, and it writes your life story based on however it interprets them. Left to its own devices, this network can quickly become maladaptive. It will write whatever stories that it deems necessary, even if its recollection of the memories or the conclusions that it draws about them are wrong. It will then use whatever false story that it came up with to influence the way that you automatically perceive and think about things. This will be the determining factor in the tone and attitude of your self-talk. Now, why are positive affirmations important? If it isn't obvious yet, having thoughts that are roughly 80% negative sucks. It makes you perceive everything in life as worse than it actually is, and it can really hinder your ability to make the improvements in your life that you need. No hate, but people who think negatively are not realists. They're just cynics. Thinking negatively is of absolutely zero benefit to anyone. If you're trying to be successful and you operate based off of negative thoughts, our mind does not know the difference between positive and negative. So if you allow it to be dominated by these negative thoughts, that's what it's going to learn how to function on. And even if you were to become successful thinking in this way, it's going to be a lot harder, and this type of negative thinking is going to lead to negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is going to eventually lead to self-dissatisfaction and probably self-hatred. As I mentioned before, positive affirmations are the exercise that your brain needs to start shedding that fat of negativity and to start building the muscle of positive thinking. Positive affirmations are going to allow you to reprogram your DMN so that you can begin to consistently exist with a positive state of mind, positive self-talk, and viewing life in a constructive way that best serves you. As you begin to cultivate a more positive state of mind, you start to begin to see how much opportunity that life has to offer you. That negative voice in your head that was once your enemy is now your best friend. As you enter your interactions and your experiences with this new state of mind and this positive energy, you begin to write your own life story as you see fit. I have 5 steps for you to begin changing your life with positive affirmations. And we're going to start from 0 here. Well, technically 1, since now that you understand all that information about the DMN and positive affirmations. The following are the 5 steps that I followed that completely changed my life using positive affirmations. Step 1, identify your negative thoughts and patterns. So we want to start off by building awareness around what our most common negative thoughts and patterns of ruminations are. It might be in all areas, and if that's the case, just pick somewhere specific to start, like maybe you think negatively about your body or negatively about your capabilities. Just pick one, and we're going to progressively work on that one, and then once we get that one going a little bit better, we're going to move on to other areas. I recommend journaling for about a week, and you're going to want to write down what your consistent negative thoughts that you're noticing are popping up, and it's going to allow you to track them and see which ones that you want to start working on immediately. Step 2, create personalized affirmations. So now that we've identified our common negative thought patterns, we want to begin creating personalized affirmations that cater to those specific things and where we're currently at in life. So let's just use competency as an example. If you're someone that struggles with competency, you might commonly have negative thoughts such as, I can't do it, I always mess things up, or I am useless. Now the right affirmations we want to have are, I am developing my skills to be successful, I have worth regardless of the outcomes, and I can improve at anything that I dedicate time to. Now the wrong affirmations would be, I am competent, I can do anything, and I never fail. While those are great things to think about eventually, we have to keep in mind the DMN. We currently have a life story based on certain evidence or experiences that our DMN has used to write the story. These memories usually do contain some truth, even though they can be kind of harsh, and it would be great to start thinking, I can do anything, but until you start proving that you're competent, it's probably just going to be useless to think like that right now because it's just not true. The right affirmations acknowledge where you are at, they are empowering, and they are also happening right now. These are going to lead you to being competent and actually believing it. Step 3, take corresponding action. Words and thoughts alone are not enough. For affirmations to be effective in changing your life, they must be reinforced with corresponding action. After all, we exist within a physical realm, don't we? For example, let's use the affirmation from above. I am developing my skills to be successful. You better be taking action to develop those skills. Otherwise, you're just saying weightless words and no real changes are going to happen. Sure, you might feel a little better at first, but that isn't going to last very long if there's no results. Step 4, practice daily. You want to practice these affirmations and actions daily. The more that you do them and consistently that you do them, the more that they're going to become habitual and automatic. I have 3 things that I think can help you practice daily. Number 1, set alarms. So when I first started out, I had an alarm set for 5 minutes after I wake up, one for noon, so right around lunchtime, and then also another one right before bed. And these alarms just say positive affirmations, and it reminds you in the beginning, hey, do your affirmations. Until it becomes a consistent thing you're doing, you might forget, so these are really, really helpful. Number 2, you want to create a plan of action. And I actually have a video on this. The link is here if you want to watch that. And essentially, this plan of action is going to help you take action in an efficient and manageable way. The third thing I suggest is you want to make these affirmations or even reminders visible. So I actually have a piece of paper right there, and I have an affirmation on it that says, I am breaking old patterns and moving forward in my life. I have it right above my shoes, so every time I go to put on my shoes to leave, I always see it. So I'm going out the door thinking positively, and I might go over my positive affirmations. Just make sure you put them somewhere it's visible, and it will really help you get in the kick of doing your affirmations every day. Step 5, reflect and adjust. You'll want to regularly review the impact of your affirmations. Reflect on any changes in your thoughts, behaviors, and overall mindset. Then, adjust your affirmations to align with new goals or to address new areas of negativity. I usually find myself doing this when I journal. I journal daily. I recommend doing it at least once a week. Maybe you can make Sunday night your self-reflection night, and you can enter the week with a good directive in mind. And that's it. That's the 5 steps. Today we talked about what positive affirmations and the DMN are. We talked about why they're both important. And I also just gave you 5 steps for how you can start implementing affirmations into your life the right way. Are you feeling more positive yet? Do you have any affirmations in mind that you're going to try out? I really hope that my deep dive into this topic today helped give you some inspiration, hopefully some guidance towards thinking better. Because at the end of the day, the way we think really is reality. If you think positively, life's going to be a lot better. Let me know down in the comment section below if you have any thoughts, questions, or even if you just want to say hello. I love hearing from y'all. Thanks for popping in and checking out the video today. Be sure to check out my blog if you haven't yet, tylersguide.us. I cover the same things that I talk about on here. But anyways, take care everybody. I'll see y'all in the next one.